basically Pixar employees now are actually voicing something I was actually kind of interested in hearing from them, which is how come like movies like Soul, which personally for me was my favorite film last year, and the upcoming Pixar film Luca are going to be free on Disney Plus, and they're not giving you the $30 upcharge. But not only is it going to be that, how come they're also not coming to theaters? And this article, which you can find on Cinema Blend from Sarah L. Mahmoud, she's basically reports that from a reliable source, Matthew Belloni, he talked about, he's basically tweeted, I talked to a few Pixar friends who say Luca and Soul move to Disney Plus has been demoralizing for employees. Forgetting theaters were not even good enough for the upcharge, that $30 upcharge that you get with Disney Plus if you choose to watch something like right now, which is Raya and the Last Dragon, and the upcoming Marvel film Black Widow will be doing the $30 upcharge as well. Both these movies, Soul and Luca, they are huge productions and technical achievements like every other Pixar film. Like we talked about how Soul implementing shadows and different animation styles into one movie is like gotta be a animator's nightmare, but also like their dream to just experiment with all that. Both these films, according to this article, took 4 years to basically get done. That's pretty long considering Marvel can pump out a movie in less than a year. And they were slated to hit theaters like every other film was until COVID-19 struck basically the whole world. And Disney basically delayed them until basically they were like, screw it, we'll just throw it onto Disney Plus that comes with your subscription. Now, the only other movie, and it sucks to say this, but the only other movie we really got from Disney Plus that came along with our subscription that was supposed to go in the theaters was Artemis Fowl. So it's like, on one end, you have Artemis Fowl, one of the worst movies we saw last year. For some of us, the worst film we saw last year. And on the other hand, you have Soul, which is one of the best movies we saw. And both of them come with your Disney Plus subscription. And for me, and Dom, I'll let you take over, and I'll just open the point with this. I get where the animators are coming from. You put 4 years into these projects, and all of a sudden, like, you have Disney walk in and say, well, all your hard work and effort won't be shown on the screen at all. Now, I get it. Like, the theaters, they were all not safe to go to for a period of time. I get that. And some of them did reopen, and it does suck that your films won't be seen on the big screen. What you were intending, these beautiful landscape imagery things that you guys animated in Soul and in Luca, it won't be seen on a theater screen, and instead it will be shown on my phone at 3 a.m. when I'm watching these movies.
Yeah.
I get where you guys are coming from, but these movies aren't really free. Like, I am paying an $8 subscription to Disney Plus, and no offense also to Disney, there's really nothing on there. Like, yeah, we're getting the Marvel stuff now, and both WandaVision was a lot of fun, and the Falcon and Winter Soldier show is actually turning out better than I thought it would ever be. But still, there's still not enough on there for me to go, it's worth your subscription. For Pixar movies to be included with that, the more recent ones that are being released, I think that's a good selling point for the platform. I get where they're coming from. I totally get it. I want your guys' work to be shown on the big screen and everything. And I get that you guys want to be rewarded for your hard effort to be like shown like some like, oh, Disney does care about our work, because you have films like Black Widow, Cruella, Raya, and even Mulan last year that like, well, if you want to see this film, you got to pay that $30 charge to to see it. And it's just like, well, yeah, that's all I basically have to say. I kind of lost my train of thought there at the very end. Don, go ahead, take over.
That's fine, but yeah, you mentioned that the price went. I don't know if you mentioned this. The price went up for Disney Plus too, by $1. But it's a slow creep. I think
Netflix did that for the longest time. It was like $7, then $8, then $9. Now it's $15 a month.
Yeah, and like I don't want to go into that necessarily the price increases, but it does kind of make sense. And I think everyone knew that Disney was kind of lowballing it to get to cast the wide net, get everyone on, wait for grandma to forget that she's paying for it, and then up the price over the next months and years, et cetera, et cetera. That's fine. That's the usual. But like, yeah, what are we paying for? What are we doing here? I agree with the sentiment, and I agree with Joe, but like, Joe will agree with me on this point too. But like, Nothing that we've paid $30 for has been worth that $30.
No.
Not even close. Okay, so the only thing that I think comes close to that to a theoretical $30 would be like Soul. And even then I'm like, I'm paying for three movie
Yeah.
tickets, right?
And I love that movie. I still wouldn't. There is no movie to me that is worth $30, honestly.
No.
Like, none of these films are worth that $30 benchmark price on Disney Plus. I think that's ridiculous. The $20 we pay for the video on demand fee, I think is pushing it already. Because that's just like, it's my ticket plus someone else. But it's like $30.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, look, I don't have a family. I'm a 25-year-old living by himself, trying just to get by. And like, you guys are charging me $30 to see your latest Marvel film or whatever the hell else you guys are releasing.
Would you have paid $20 to see Raya and the Last Dragon?
Would I have paid $20 to see Raya?
Yeah.
I think the highest I would go is 15.
Yeah, right.
Like 15, and
About
hopefully like
half
a Coca-Cola and popcorn is included. And I like that movie. I gave it 3 out of 4 stars. But like, still, like, money to it's very hard to go from, especially for me, from $10 a ticket to then $8.95 a month because MoviePass was a thing, to then $15 a month to see 3 movies a week. With my AMC subs thing, it's really hard to be like, well, now I'm paying $30 for just one movie.
On top of the subscription.
On top of the subscription. Like, it would be something if it was like, hey, if you don't have a Disney Plus subscription, it's $30. If you do have it, it's $22. I can at least then go like, okay, all right, like, it's not that bad, but at least like I take money off of it. But the fact that like for this month I am now being charged $38, it's like, get out of here, guys. The Mighty Ducks show was something I never asked for, like, and I don't want it on this platform.
so true. I'm watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right?
Yeah.
And every time on that carousel on the main menu, I see the Mighty Ducks, and I'm like, man, I don't care. I don't care at all about this.
And I'm gonna end up watching it eventually
crap.
because there's nothing else on that platform, and I'll be like, you know what? Because there's nothing else to watch on it, it's actually a good show.
It sucks. We were being so dismissive, I'm sure, to a team of people that work really hard on that show, but it's like,
probably.
They have to know. It's like, yeah, I'm working on the Mighty Ducks show. You know, not culturally relevant. Maybe it's good. Hey, look, I can't judge too much, but yeah, the thing that matters to me the most has mattered for the entire run of the online run of Sleepless with Steve, right? Mm-hmm. Is safety first, keeping people safe, keeping people out of, not providing an avenue for people to be stupid and to spread this disease. So it's funny. It's like, I don't know. Can the people who are making Black Widow, can you like live with the fact that your movie is being shown in theaters where people are potentially getting sick? I think it hits differently now that we have a vaccine.
Yeah.
Maybe if Black Widow came out
when the vaccine wasn't even like being put out there, Disney was like, we ain't putting anything in theaters. Like, Mulan didn't go to theaters. It was
rightfully
only on the thing. Because the vaccine is like distributing now, it's actually on a roll and whatnot, or like some states are actually doing way better than most of them. They were like, okay, or countries, I should say, too. They were like, okay, yeah, you know what? Raya the Last Dragon will be our first Disney like film to go out there and test the waters. And it made, for a movie in a pandemic, 10 mil opening weekend, that's pretty good. Like,
pretty good.
Like, you gotta consider that. Kong versus Godzilla, we'll get into that next week about how that box office went, because I'm curious to see how it does here in our theaters compared to overseas where it made a killing. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah,
does anyone does the box office have any meaning right now? Does that metric have any meaning whatsoever? Because there's a massive asterisk. I'm sorry, what?
To maybe like theaters, like, oh god, we're actually gonna be alive still.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, the profits for sure. Yeah. No, the actual like, hey, this needs to go to us. Yeah, sure, I get that. But like as a measurement of how well a film is doing, no one can reasonably be using that as a metric, right? It has to be through streaming. I can't help. It was Tenet for the longest time, but now Tower Heist is probably going to be our most mentioned movie that we haven't reviewed. Tower Heist, right? We mention it every time it comes prices come up for online streaming. I can't help but there's a little. I wish Steve was here. I can't help but there's a little bit of that playing into the insistence on $30. I don't know, I don't know the checkbook, but like I would think Disney has money. You laid off all those people last year. What, thousands and thousands of people? I think. I don't know if it was in the 5 digits or not, but like I forget. But like, hey, you laid off a bunch of people last year. All your stuff is running at half capacity in terms of parks and whatnot. So it's like, I think you can save some money. You shuttered. Didn't Disney shutter? Didn't Disney acquire and shutter Blue Sky Studios or something like that? I think we talked about that.
Blue Sky Studios did close down. I don't know if it was Disney's fault. There's been some,
or if they just closed down. Yeah, I actually forgot about that.
I forgot about it.
I'm just so used to Disney eating everything.
No offense to Blue Sky. But their films were kind of forgettable, so I just kind of forgot how it went.